Welcome to an all levels practice. If you are a beginner, welcome. And this sequence should help you get accustomed to being in and on your fabric. I do have a couple other videos to help beginners, which I will link in the description below. I'm excited to take my practice off the mat and into the air with you. If you enjoy our class, consider subscribing to support the channel. And if you have any struggles along the way, let me know in the comments so I can help you navigate through them. Let's talk about where we want our hammock to be before we start our class. I want you to come right up onto your tippy toes and set your hammock right to about the region of your hip flexors. Once you get set, I'll meet you behind your fabric and we'll get started. We're going to begin our practice standing behind the fabric. Slide the hands down the inside, creating a little bar. Roll the shoulders, standing tall in Tadasana. Begin to tone the muscles of your legs and close your eyes. Let this practice nurture the mind, the body, and also give a sense of freedom to the spirit that only this style of practice can offer. Opening those eyes and hinge at the crease of your hips, coming forward. We'll work our way into some cat-cows. On the exhale, round and curl your way up. And on the inhale, extend forward, dropping the belly and lifting through the tailbone. Take a couple rounds at your own pace. And the next time you come forward, I want you to hold. Release your left hand. The right hand is going to float to the middle of the fabric and peek over that left shoulder. Active pressure of that right hand into your fabric, and then begin to soften. Bend the elbow and fold deeper, finding your way into the trap and the tricep on that right side. Press down and extend the right arm. Left comes up and replaces right as you peek over the shoulder on that right side. Begin to let your body weight sink as the elbow bends. This should feel good, just let everything go. Reach up with that right hand and find your way back into the fabric and roll your way up. Bringing it up and over your shoulders. And I want you to create what feels like a little plank position. The fabric is right behind your shoulder blades. Stepping back and engage the core and squeeze the glutes. Hands are going to come behind the head, elbows nice and wide. Take a nice full breath in, and on the exhale, arch over your fabric. Inhale, coming back up, and exhale to arch. Keep trying to extend wide through those elbows. Head and neck are fully supported. Take one more and just breathe into your shape. Bringing the head up and release the hands. They'll float all the way up and overhead. This is going to take us into a floating plank pose. As the knees bend, bring your arms out to the horizon to catch. Dropping back and reach overhead. Again, float through and press. Twice more. Inhale and exhale. Last time. As you float your way back, swing those arms all the way around and in front of your fabric. Step your feet a little bit wider than your mat, and just try a little side hinge. I'm going to go from one side over to the other. One leg is straight while the other one bends. This is going to take us into a clock exercise. Seeing if you can bring this all the way into a circle. Try one more. And back into your side to side. Let's try that other direction when you're ready. One more. And all the way back to center. Begin to heel toe those feet back in and rise up and through. Fabric is going to come back up and overhead. And we'll try our first down dog. Hands slide into the fabric. Come up onto those tippy toes. And all the way to the front end of the mat till you catch that hip crease with your fabric. Soft bend to the knees to take your fold. As the hands come down, release the feet. Pushing through those heels. And there is a tendency here to look for the floor with your toes. Think of an extension of your backside by pressing through the heels, drawing the navel in and the lower rib cage together. Active push of the palms. And this should feel just like downward facing dog, only you have that ability to traction a little bit further than if you were just on your mat. And on to a wrap lifted down dog. So letting the hands come underneath your shoulders. This will give you the ability to dip the torso down. Point the toes and widen the legs. See if you can come all the way around and find the front of your fabric. Once you do, push back into your down dog. Draw the lower ribs in. Feel that sense of lengthening through the spine. Strengthen the arms. Release by floating your shoulders back over your hands. From here, press into that floor and see if you can take some side bends. And you'll feel lots of core activation. Really trying to crunch the hip and shoulder together. Slow return back to center. Active push of those palms as you release into your down dog. Another breath here. Lift that gaze and float to those feet. Catch your way all the way up into those hip flexors. Nice flat back. See if you can extend your arms out to the side and hold with back strength. Squeeze those shoulder blades together and look at the floor. Nice breath in. And on the exhale, release and step it out of your expression. Once you come out, you might need to adjust fabric and release those hip flexors. All right, and on to some lunges. So we need to catch our right arch inside the fabric. What I find helpful is to create a little swing here so I can step up and catch my arch. You might need to scrunch your fabric up in case it's stuck on your heel, and you also might need to adjust to make sure you're right underneath your plumb line so that I'm right underneath my rigging point. Stand nice and tall and begin to extend the right hip away. The hip likes to lead, so try to pull the right hip back and down if you feel like you are not truly square to the front end of your mat. Pull the arms and fabric towards you as you extend the sternum forward. And try not to lead with your hip. We'll get to that later. Just focus on beginning to open up that hamstring on the right side. Inhale, roll up. And on the exhale, pull the sternum forward. Roll up and catch the crease of your knee by stepping through your fabric. Taking this into a lunge, lift your left heel and begin to hinge forward. Just like a lunge, you want an active right foot. You can hold on to the fabric from behind, or you can swim through and hold on from the front. Actively push through that left foot into the floor and squeeze and engage your thigh. Press through that back foot to pull yourself back. To switch sides, we're gonna come into a seat. As you pull back, slide your left foot into the hammock and enjoy the ride. As the hammock swings forward, step off. Come up and over, and let's try that left side. Create that little swing and step that foot inside. Scrunching up, make sure you're not on the heel. Stand nice and tall and begin to extend away. There is a tendency for that right foot to turn out slightly. It gives us more of a balance to stand on. Try to have your toes pointing towards the front end of the mat. As you pull the fabric towards you, extend the sternum forward. Left hip pulls back and down. Inhale, extend up, and exhale. See if you can go a little further. Rolling up and bending the knee so that you can kick through. Catch right behind the crease of the knee. Up onto that right big toe ball mound, heels up. Engage through those core muscles to keep you steady as you come into your lunge. Hold on as you wish from behind or come through and hold. Press actively through that right foot. Squeeze and engage your muscles. Chest should feel like it's lifted. Take another breath. And press through that right foot to pull you back. Let's go for that little ride. Release and climb your way in with that right foot. Forward swing is the release. Come all the way up and overhead and back into your down dog. Slide down the inside of the fabric, stand tall, catching those hip flexors and forward and down. Release the feet as the hands touch, downward facing dog. Push through those heels and set your pose. And we're going to explore a front balance, which is floating Shalabhasana. Go ahead and walk your hands underneath your shoulders, and I want you to set your legs, squeeze them together and point the toes. You'll want to keep your feet lower than your hips, which is going to help us balance. Reach up with your hands. You'll want your thumbs to be pointing the ceiling and your palms to be facing out as you grab the fabric. Nice and slow, begin to walk up the fabric until you could feel yourself balancing in your pose. The gaze is down, don't strain your neck. Now this can be done without your hands, but it does take practice and time to get there. So if you're feeling like maybe you want to use the fabric for a couple weeks, a month, then repeat this with your hands on the fabric. We'll try it once more with the option to use the hands and float them. Coming all the way down, just let your hands slide through the fabric as you come into your fold. Set your legs by pointing the toes, squeeze everything tight. Hands are going to come underneath your shoulders if you're going to try to float it. Press through the fingertips to pop into your pose. Engage the muscles of your backside, look down. Don't hold that breath. And this does get easier, it just takes practice. See if you can take one more breath. And gently begin to slowly lower your way down. I like to take a little release here, just letting everything hang, softening all the muscles through the backside. Hands to the mat as you push into your downward dog. Lifting your gaze and try to catch the floor with those toes, coming all the way up and release. As always, releasing, adjusting, and back into those lunges. We'll start with the right side, take a swing and catch the back of that knee crease. Up and through. Hold on to the fabric with one hand so that you can pivot to what feels like a little warrior two position. Strong and engaged to the core. We're lined up through that long end of the mat and begin to hinge forward and through. Once you feel set, extend those arms out to the horizon and peek right over that shoulder. Remembering we're using this style of practice to help deepen our poses, challenge us in new ways, and I think find something new in poses that we get very complacent in, the ones that we might do frequently on our mat. Spiral the arms, coming all the way onto the fabric. You'll want to pull back and spin the heel onto your arch and stand nice and tall. Extend the right leg, drop the hip and pull it back. You can stay here, especially if you've got really tight hamstrings. I want you to hold here. Continue to extend the sternum forward as you pull that fabric towards you. If you'd like to try a standing split here, rise up onto that left foot, heels off the ground, and slowly begin to extend forward. Continue to try to keep those hips square to the front of the mat as you find your pose. Strong back leg. Take one more breath. And slowly begin to ease yourself back. Pull that leg underneath you. For our swap, we're gonna stand in our fabric. Left will replace right. Stepping in and stepping out. Right foot to the floor. Kick that left knee through. Find your transition, pivot on the foot, warrior two. Hands can stay on the hips, or as you sink in, when you're settled, extend through those arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and extend and reach through the chest. Gaze is right over those front fingertips. Spiral the arms to the fabric, and as you pull yourself back, spin that heel. Climb your way up and into the arch. We've got our option to hold with hamstring. Drop the left hip. Make sure it's not leading. Especially if your hamstring's tight, I want you to just hold here. Standing splits. Lift that right heel. Make sure you're strong and engaged to the core, controlling the action as you fall forward. You should feel in control the whole time. Chest stays lifted. Nice full breath in. And pull yourself back. Knee comes underneath that plumb line. Reach up nice and high. Step into your fabric. Bend your knees and pop into a seat. Stepping forward and just face your fabric. Give a nice little stretch forward and just move organically in your body. Notice how you're feeling so far. Roll your way up. And we're gonna get ready for our back straddle inversion. So just figuring out which direction you'd like to fold into in relation to your screen. The fabric is going to come behind you, and most likely you'll need to come onto your tippy toes to find the sacrum. Pull the fabric around you. That's going to create a little shelf. You want to almost think about fastening a seatbelt. And as you create that shelf, lean back, knees go wide, and immediately open into that straddle position. Legs cross in front. Draw the abdominals in, and if you need to stop yourself, backs of the hands onto the floor, not the palms. Give a little shake of the head, yes or no. It does take time to become accustomed to being upside down here. We won't stay long for our practice today. If you wanted to play with different arm variations, a ragdoll is really nice, holding onto either elbow and just letting everything go. This is a nice way to really get into that thoracic spine. On the exhale, just gently tone the abdomen and allow the lengthening and the traction to find its way into that upper back. Releasing the arms, and to exit, I want you to reach up with your hands and find the fabric right up and above your thigh so that you can grab on. Lift your gaze and slowly come up. You want to create a pause about halfway right onto that shelf. When you feel ready, feet to the floor. Catch your shoulders and allow the pelvis to hang. Support your forehead with your arms in front. You want to give time for your body to just accustom to being right side up. When you feel ready, walking back with those feet and out of your fabric. And now it's time for everybody's favorite, Shavasana. I want you to billow out your fabric. And you'll know it's the end because it'll have a little curly edge to it. Back right up into your fabric and grab a couple of handfuls so you can slide into a seat. Pull the fabric up to your knees and reach behind you and grab the opposite end and just let them hang right over your shoulders like a little cape. Lean back so that you can climb into your hammock. You want to have your feet covered, and then you can cover your head. People like to cross their arms over their chest, or I like to take my hands in prayer position overhead and let them hang out of the top of the fabric. Closing your eyes. Surrendering to that feeling of weightlessness or that you're floating in water. Let the efforts of your practice go. Begin to reawaken by extending your arms overhead and find your way into side bends from one side over to the other. As you come back to center, reach up and grab the fabric above you and bend the knees to kick the feet forward and out. Climb up onto a seat. Keeping your arms on the outside, the elbows will catch and just hang. Shake the head yes or no, let go of tension. Sitting up tall, inhale the arms up and overhead and bring them into heart center. Closing the eyes. I am humbled and honored to be here with you. Om Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. Namaste.